All right, ladies and gentlemen, it's time for another manga reaction and review. So let's go ahead and get the formalities out of the way, shall we? Well, firstly, let me get this image out of the way. Good to see you, Psycho. Good to see you, Ali. And good to see you, Brittany. First time managing to catch one of these streams live? Well, I'm glad I was able to do that for you. I'm glad you're able to show up, and I'm glad you were able to catch me live. Now, let's go ahead and get the formalities out of the way. Yo, peoples! Kyushu92 here, and welcome back to yet another My Hero Academia chapter reaction and review. Let's go over what happened in the last chapter. What happened in the last chapter was a lot of the heroes got straight-bodied after Tomura, his arm started to morph into like a massive right arm with the heads of his family coming out of the fingertips. And his body started to configure itself in a way to protect him because his body was still trying to find its ideal form. And he proceeds to just one-shot both Sun Eater and Nejire and even Mirko, sending her flying straight into a tree, pretty much snapping that tree in half. And it looks like pretty much all of the heroes are down and out until we get a double-page panel showing that Midoriya has arrived. And in an instant, he basically just hits Tomura with a massive smash. And that ended the last chapter. So let's go ahead and get started with this one today called Chapter 367, Deku versus All for One. And if you guys want to see what I'm seeing, either go to the official site on Shonen Jump on Viz.com or go to the website of your choice. But as I always say, support the official release. Now, we have a double page panel here, a color cover page, which pretty much shows a good deal of the heroes, a good deal of the Class 1A in here, along with some of the villains. And it says Anime Season 6, because the 6th season of the anime is coming up soon, or it's already here, and I just haven't really paid attention. But in this double spread panel here, we have Himiko Toga, we have Uraraka, we have Hawks, we have Twice, we have Dabi, we have Mirko, we have Tokoyami, we have Kaminari, we have Kaminari, we have Kirishima, we have Mineta, we have Midoriya, and we have Aizawa-sensei, who are all up in this panel just watching TV, eating pizza. This is the most civil I've ever seen the heroes and the villains be in one panel. They're all just chilling. All right, let's move on. Ah, I knew it! I knew it! I called this. I said, like, either the next chapter is going to have us recount how Midoriya came across what was flying in the air towards him and what led him to this point. I was right! Because it cuts back to when Midoriya was flying over the ocean at top speed and something was coming towards him. It gets confirmed that it was, in fact, those bomber planes that used to work with Star and Stripe before she was, hit with decay by Tomura during their battle. But it shows Midoriya going, and then it cuts to one of the guys going, the school bus is here picking up a little lost ally. Grab on, kiddo. As Midoriya uses Black Whip to grab onto the stealth bomber as he goes, I really appreciate it. Yeah, you better. We were supposed to be guarding the skies around UA. Right, sorry about this. Make this worth the effort. See, we ignored our orders to head home and opted to stick around in Japan. You know why? 'Cause our gal wagered it all on you folks, and 'cause you inherited All Might's power. Go on, use us as stepping stones to reach history's nastiest villain and kick his butt. So it shows that Midoriya is holding on to these stealth bombers, and they're all in front of each other so that Midoriya can latch on and pull himself closer and closer back to Japan. And it shows him whipping himself forward. And now it cuts back to when Midoriya... It cuts to the present where Midoriya uses Black Whip on Tomura and he goes, Izuku Midoriya! And then, before Tomura can do anything, he gets hit. He gets hit by another smash by Midoriya. And then it shows Mirio as he's, permeating through the ground. He's He's looking, and then he's smiling. He's looking, and he's smiling that Midoriya is there. And that it shows Shigaraki in the air. He's coughing up blood. Let me say this again. He's coughing up a little blood. This is the first time a major injury. This is the first time Tomura has been hit hard enough for blood to be drawn from him. He's done it to everybody else, but this is the first time in a long time that Tomura has drawn blood from someone dealing damage to him. And all Tomura can think is, has he gotten stronger? That glowing energy. I've seen it before. And he's thinking back to the third user of One For All who used Fajin. And then Tomura's thinking about it because that is, All For One's vestiges and a little bit of his memories resides in Tomura. And Tomura's remembering that. But it shows Shigaraki as he's, thrown through the air with extreme force. So hard he actually hits the force field that is enveloping all of UA right now. And then it cuts to Mandalay. Not Pixie Bob, not Ragdoll. Mandalay. Thank you, whoever told me. I think it was either Midoriya, Shonen who told me, or someone else. But Mandalay says, Midoriya's in the cage. And then Midoriya goes, sorry I'm late. Are you all right? And as he says this, he looks over and he sees Bakugo. He stops dead in his tracks as he sees Bakugo. And it zooms in on his face. It zooms in on Midoriya's face as he's looking at Bakugo, and he notices the All Might card that's laying next to him. And now Midoriya, after having punched Shigaraki, after punching Tomura, he's starting to see what has happened all around. He's looking and he sees Best Jeanist, who's doing his best and struggling to even use his own quirk. Like he's trying to make one of these carbon fiber wires float up in the air and move it, but it's shaking. And his whole body is shaking. Best Jeanist is on his last legs of energy. And he's looking around and he sees Nejire, who has like a big tear through her stomach, like across her stomach, not in her stomach, but she has like a big scar, a bleeding scar across her stomach. Sun Eater is completely knocked out. Mirko is no longer in the tree, but she's up against it and she's out cold. And then it cuts to Tomura as he gets back up, as he goes, got some excuse for being late? I'm guessing it was Toga's doing. Right, Izuku Midoriya? Go ahead, make that excuse. There was nothing I could do. I never saw it coming. And then it shows Midoriya as he starts to crouch down a little bit, as he starts to hunch over. Go on, be my guest. Run from responsibility, just like they did. And it shows Midoriya. Wow, I kind of spit a little bit. My apologies, everyone. That was so uncouth. It shows Midoriya getting even more and more angry as energy starts to come out of his mouth and from his eyes. And he just starts to get upset. And he go, oh my goodness! Oh! Yo, Midoriya's going berserk again. That same berserk state he was in when he saw Bakugo get stabbed multiple times by that black and red vine-like quirk. Way back when Tomura woke up, he goes berserk. Like his eyes just disappear. A black whip just erupts from his body. His whole body just gives off just a whole massive feeling, a whole massive power. Fajin mixed in. Like his whole, he looks as if he's under the effects of the berserk armor from Berserk. He's gone berserk. And then it cuts to Tomura as he goes, when you stoke this one's anger, his moves get pathetically simplistic. I'll counter his next attack and crack his spine. Come on, do it. Admit it. You love the present I got you, right? And then it cuts to Mirio, who phases into the ground right next to Midoriya. And mind you, there's so much power erupting from Midoriya that it's covering the entire page that he's in. With Mirio screaming, it's gonna be okay! Deku! Him again. As it shows Mirio trying his best to grab onto him. I get it. You're feeling like you'll never live this down. But that's falling right into this villain's trap. And he's grabbing onto Midoriya, trying to shake him back to reality. It's okay. Tamaki and them are still kicking. And right now, Edgeshot is trying to save Bakugo's life. I know he's gonna pull it off. I'm still fighting because I have faith. Get it? We haven't lost anyone yet. Nobody's given up. And then it cuts to Tomura as he's going, the endless sanctimony, the empty talk, all to avoid facing facts and reality. He's doing his best to try and play mind games, as All For One is prone to do. Listen here, we're heroes, and if heroes don't talk the talk, then who else is going to transform ideals into reality? And then it cuts to back when All Might was still going as he goes, think this is all for the cameras? Think what you want. In this job, you risk your life and put your money where your mouth is. And then it cuts to Midoriya as he slowly starts to change back into normal. Like you can see his eyes now. The energy that was erupting from his entire body is starting to slowly subside. Then it cuts to the pilot as he goes, "'Cause our gal wagered it all on you folks." And then it cuts to, I forget the dude's name. It was something Bago or Dago something. The dude the quirk user, the user that had Black Whip as he goes, it's okay to get mad. What really matters is controlling your heart. And then it cuts to the energy that was erupting all out of Midoriya. It starts to swirl around him and actually starts to grow smaller. And then Tomura can only look on as Midoriya goes, "Sorry about that, Lemillion." And then Lemillion goes, "Save your sorries until after we win this, hero." And then Midoriya doesn't say anything. And then he says, "All For One. Is Shigaraki still in there?" As we see the previous users of One For All appearing behind Midoriya, fully supporting him. Nana Shimura, Yoriichi, he's there as well. All the users of One For All are standing behind Midoriya, as apparently he's refined One For All and the quirks that are in him to a point where he has Black Whip that is just coming off of his hands. He has Black Whip that's around his mask. His hair is up as if he was using 100%. Fajin is emanating from his body and his eyes, and including his arm as well. I think Midoriya has gained an even greater control over One For All and the quirks inside than he's ever had before now. So Midoriya was about to go berserk. He was about to go berserk. But Lemillion brought him back. The Black Whip user's name is Banjo. Thank you. I knew it was something. I knew it was Boss something, but I couldn't really remember. My apologies. But Midoriya is ready to fight now. And I feel like I gotta look up this chapter. This was a good chapter. You got me out my seat. For Feral Deku. We haven't seen Feral Deku ever since he saw Bakugo, get pierced through his body. And that was before Tomura and his body had reached a certain point, but he still proceeded to body Tomura, and he started using One For All at a level that even All Might never used it. So I gotta look this up. MHA chapter 367. And we're not going on break after this chapter either. So that's already fantastic. Let me see. Where is the chapter? Where is it? I gotta get the wiki so we can get we gotta get the notes. Then when I'm done here, I'll move on to Jujutsu Kaisen. Let's see. Chapter notes. It is revealed the figures that approached Deku were the American military fleet arriving to escort him back to UA. They revealed they were assigned to protect the aerial space around the flying fortress, though they were supposed to be there. Tomura realizes Deku has gotten stronger, recognizing his new power and recalling it as the third user's quirk. So the third user's quirk, we still don't have the name for it. We still don't have a name for the third user's quirk. No. I'm wrong. Before y'all say anything, the third user was the one who uses Fajin. So that's on me. Apologies. Deku is copying Eraserhead. He's got Black Whip and his scarf wrapped around his face just like Eraserhead. But the second user is the one where the quirk is unknown. But he was using the quirk of Fajin. And Tomura recognized it. Tomura realizes Deku has gotten stronger, recognizing his new power and recalling it as the third user's quirk. So this is the first time that Tomura is having to deal with Fajin and actually seeing Fajin, because Midoriya used Fajin during his fight with Lady Nagant, but they weren't really told about Fajin in that great detail way back when. This version of Deku is a huge threat. Oh yes, Allie. Major threat. The dude is strong. Deku goes into a state of shock upon seeing Dynamite and all the other heroes' comatose bodies, causing his quirks to erupt out of control, which Tomura attempts to take advantage of to attack him. Because when you go berserk, you tend to lose all sense and reasoning, and you're not in your right frame of mind, which allows people to get an edge up on you because you're not calm. If you're calm, then people really can't get the edge up on you because you're thinking things through. What Shigaraki was hoping, what Tomura was hoping for, was for Midoriya to see all the heroes and then lose his mind, which would then allow Tomura to get a major attack on Midoriya, impair him, and then literally rip One for All from him. But Midoriya, thanks to Lemillion, he's able to calm him down, and now that plan for Tomura is pretty much out of the window now. So now he's got to think something else, because Midoriya is back to his senses. Lemillion is able to calm Deku down by telling him everyone is still alive and get him back to his senses. And then Deku confronts All For One, asking about Tomura, because he knows that Tomura is buried deep in there. He knows that Tomura is buried deep in there, and that All For One is in the driver's seat. It's like when Krieg is in that one form. Yeah, he is. That's pretty much it. That berserker state that Krieg goes in. That one where his arm gets massively huge and he does absurd amounts of damage in Borderlands 2. That's exactly what it is. But with Midoriya, yeah, he's a lot more powerful than Krieg. So all that power is just erupting from him, threatening everyone in the immediate vicinity. That could have spelled the end for him had he not calmed down, had Lemillion not calmed him down. Because we're dealing with a Tomura, we're dealing with an All For One, we're dealing with a Tomura possessed, we're dealing with an All For One possessed Tomura. I was trying to find the right way to say that. We're dealing with a Tomura who's possessed by All For One, who's really in control at the moment. Tomura suppressed. All For One is in control of this body right now due to the vestige of his consciousness in the quirk that is in Tomura's body. So All For One is in control right now. Doing everything that's said out of Tomura's mouth is basically All For One. His attempts to get underneath the hero's skin in order to make them slip up so he can take them out quickly, that's All For One. Tomura is just there for the destruction and the craziness, and he doesn't have much thoughts when it comes to his attacks. He just uses his decay quirk to just take everything out. But this is All For One we're dealing with. The consciousness of All For One is in control right now, and now he's face to face with the user of One For All. All For One versus One For All, round 10, 11, 12. Round 12. This is the 12th round of All For One versus One For All. Because we still have the 9 users of One For All. We still have the 9 users. And then we have, well, actually, hold on. Let me make sure. No. It's 11. Because we had 8 users all the way up until All Might. And those were the moments where he went up against them. Then we had the 9th moment where he defeated All For One back in their final... All Might defeated him in their final fight. And now we're up to the point where All For One is going up against Midoriya now. Who would win, All For One or Frieza? I mean, All for One is powerful, but he's not a planet buster. Frieza is a planet buster. Literally, one of his death balls was enough to destroy planet Vegeta and pretty much kill all the Saiyans, save for Broly, Goku, and Vegeta. So, who would win? Frieza. No doubt, Frieza. The dude can destroy planets anytime he wants to. And he did it to Namek. He did it to Planet Vegeta. He did it to Earth. Had it not been for Whis, who rewound time. Yeah. Frieza's a straight up planet buster. All for One is strong, but he's not planet bursting strong. There's still limitations to the quirks that he can do, even though a lot of the quirks he has under his belt are absurdly powerful. None of them are of the planet destroying variety that Frieza just uses on a daily basis. Who can casually use planet destroying attacks on a regular basis. So Frieza all day. I like All for One, but Frieza takes the cake with this one. This was a good chapter. I like this chapter because now we are finally getting the big fight. We're finally getting the big fight between One for All and All for One all over again. Here's the thing, though. I was not expecting us to go into this fight so soon. I was hoping that we would squash down all the other fights that everyone's having right now. Unless this is the start of the fight, and then we cut to everyone else. Because we still got Himiko Toga versus Uraraka and Sue. We still have Aoyama and Fat Gum versus that one member of Tartarus. We still have the original All for One, who's on borrowed time, trying to make his way to where Tomura is, as he's facing off against the rest of the heroes. We got Toya, who's awake again, copying Shoto's Phosphorus move, so he's back up again. There's still fights that need to be resolved before we get to the end-all, beat-all fight that is All for One versus One for All, and then that's it. There's still those matters that we have to go through, so for us to get Midoriya appearing in front of Shigaraki and us getting Deku versus All for One this soon, I was not expecting it. I'm not saying it's a bad thing, but I was just kind of hoping that we would be going and taking care of the other loose end fights before we focused on this one. That's just how I feel about it. But I'm not going to say that it's unwanted. I just thought that we would go in a different direction. But, hey, it's Horikoshi. If he wants it to go in this direction, then I'm just going to follow along. That's fine. That's fine. It's fine. It's fine. So, we're just going to have to see where the next chapter goes for us for My Hero Academia now that Deku has arrived and he's ready to fight Tomura. Well, ready to fight. He's ready to fight, well, All for One. Not Tomura, but All for One. I don't care about MHA. I don't want it. I'm here for you, brother. Well, see, you're too kind. You're too kind. But that's my reaction from My Hero. I heard the theory that the UA fight will have phases, and when the next phase change happens, we'll cut to other places. But yeah, I'm kind of surprised we stayed here so long, but I'll take it. Yeah, Midoriya, I feel the same exact way. At some point, we got to cut to the other fights because they're unresolved. And there's nothing worse than having unresolved fights when the big boss shows up. So I feel like I got to drink some water before I get started with Jujutsu. But I enjoyed this chapter. I knew this wasn't going to be as long as my One Piece reaction. But overall, you mean you don't watch it. Oh, you don't watch My Hero Academia. But I understand. It's a good series. Might want to look into it at least someday. I know you're going through One Piece right now. You're currently still in Whole Cake Island. But just check it out should you ever get the chance. It's good. The story is great. Phenomenal even. I enjoy it. But yeah. That was my reaction to My Hero Academia Chapter 367. Lucky, you missed it. Yeah, you kind of missed it. You're coming here on the tail end, but it's all good. It'll be up so you can see my reaction to this whole chapter. It was great. Oh, it was great. Can't wait to see what the next chapter gives us. We're not going on break with this chapter, so the next chapter will be this upcoming Sunday. Unlike when One Piece has gone on break, it's going on break, and it's not coming back for a full week, and then it's coming back on a Monday. This isn't going on break. You hate their stupid quirks? They're not stupid, C-Des. But granted, you say you don't watch My Hero, so I can't expect you to understand My Hero on the same level that the rest of us do, since we've been knee deep in this story for a couple of years now, for a very long time now, since it started. So I can't expect you to understand why we like this series so much. So to each their own. To each their own. It's all good. The fact that you just showed up just for me, I mean, I'm humbled. Thank you. But that's my reaction to My Hero. I got to get started with Jujutsu Kaisen, and I think I'll be able to start it at 1:40, so 5 minutes from now. So, you all let me know what you thought of this chapter as a whole down in the comments below. For anyone who is not here live, just let me know what you thought of this chapter as a whole. I'm happy to see Midoriya again. I'm glad to see that he's ready to fight. And now he's ready to fight all for one versus one for all. I can't wait to see how this fight concludes. I actually can't wait to see how this series concludes. It's going to feel like a massive empty hole when My Hero Academia ends. Thanks for doing this. Of course, Allie. Of course. I can't wait to see how the series ends, but that's going to be... I feel like that's still a ways off. But I'm done. Let me not keep you here any longer than I need to. I got to get started with Jujutsu. All I can say at the end of the day is... Hope y'all enjoyed. Can't wait to see you all in my next video. And if you're new to the channel and you enjoyed what you saw here today, then like, subscribe, and maybe even consider becoming a member, because I am always looking forward to entertaining you. So have a fantastic day. And once again, as always, later, peoples. Rewatching it on episode 4, this time sitting down and listening. Love this reaction, man. You put a massive grin on my face. Hey, as long as you're entertained, I've done my job.